Yo, what up guys, I'm Sammy and welcome back to the Soul Drop, and this is my performance review of the WoW 11. So Dwyane Wade's signature shoe, of course with Way of Wade, but Way of Wade is also owned by Li Ning. But yeah, Way of Wade is also kind of like his company, and yeah, his signature shoe has been absolutely amazing since like the 6 was amazing, the 7 was really nice, the 8 was really nice, the 9 was nice, but really it's kind of weird. The 10 was amazing for last year, and the 11 we'll have to see in this video, of course. So this shoe is freaking expensive. It retails for $225, so one of the most expensive hoop shoe that you can get, because I mean LeBron's are like 200 bucks. I don't know why they're pricing it so high, but that's just the price. If you guys do want to call, I'll try to leave an affiliate link in the description box. And if you do choose to get the shoe, it does help me out if you buy it through the affiliate link in the description box. So thank you guys so much for all the support. But let's get it started off with the Tracciones. In this colorway, we have kind of like a semi-translucent rubber, right? It's kind of see-through, and it has a crazy traction pattern, crazy storytelling traction pattern, right? So we have Dwyane Wade's face actually on the left shoe, and on the right we have a whole bunch of other patterns, like we can see his logo here in the forefoot and a whole bunch of other stuff, which, you know, if I went into all the details, this video would be super duper long, so we're not gonna get into that. But yeah, they're calling this GCU, so it's the ground control unit, and of course that comes from Li Ning, and Li Ning does a lot of R&D for their traction as well. I mean, they do a lot of R&D for their shoes, like for their tech, but also for their traction, their rubber, which a lot of companies don't do. A lot of companies are just like, oh, we just slapped on a rubber outsole, Continental, whatever, with Adidas. But they actually do R&D, and they actually say, oh, this rubber compound has 15-18% more grip. I don't know how you quantify that, but they do. And then also they say it's like 20-something% more wear resistant and stuff like that. So for all their Li Ning shoes, right? So the Ushuai 18 Ultra, I believe, uses GCU, and also the JB2 uses GCU, which had one of the best stops of last year. Amazing traction. So yeah, how is the WoW 11? With the GCU, it's freaking amazing. It is one of the best tractions that I've tried on this year. Like, holy crap. So first of all, the JB2 is using GCU, right? But it doesn't squeak, which of course that has nothing to do with performance, right? It also has really good, like one of the best stops you can get, but it doesn't squeak. So I wonder what they did different with the rubber compound, but with the WoW 11, has a nice loud high-pitched squeak with such an amazing bite. Like, it literally reminds me of Curry flows, right, on a clean court. And when I was playing on a clean court with the WoW 11, it's just instant bite, instant stop, and also a nice loud high-pitched squeak, which was amazing. Also, if you're playing on a dusty court, it was pretty good. Like, it was picking up a little bit of dust, but it wasn't even that bad, because I just did a slight wipe and I was good to go, and I had amazing bites again, and I also bit through dust extremely well. Just, if there was a little bit of dust, it did pick up a little bit of dust after some time, right? And also, I was playing in shoes like, you know, the Jordan 39 alongside the WoW 11, the GT Hustle 3, and the 808 4 Ultras, the GT Hustle Academy, you know. So some of the other shoes that I brought alongside with the WoW 11 was actually picking up more dust than the WoW 11. So this shoe has really good dust performance. And also, as far as durability goes, I mean, just from looking at it, the grooves are like kinda, it's actually not super deep for the grooves, but also there are really thin lines, so that makes me think it might not be the most durable, but they are saying GCU, like the rubber is supposed to be a little bit more durable than traditional rubber. So by taking their word for that, I guess it'll be a little bit more durable than traditional rubber, and also that means it'll be a little bit better for outdoor use, but of course take that with a grain of salt. But one thing I don't like about the traction is that, look, it yellows. Look at all that. I don't know if it's coming out on camera, but it yellows a lot. I guess it is a translucent outsole, but slightly translucent. But anyways, the traction is amazing, so there's that. Moving on to the heel to toe transition, also extremely nice and also very springy, right? So here in the heel, we have a very nice rounded shape, right? And we can see that it's very caged here in the heel, right? However, the cage isn't super stiff, right? You can actually feel a little bit of compression when you press it with your finger, especially on the bottom right here. So it's actually not super stiff and not super clunky, which feels very, very nice. So that feels nice here in the heel. And then coming here into the forefoot, we have a nice curved shape as well. But also this shoe is using a full length carbon fiber plate, right? And it has a good amount of, flex, right? But I need to put a good amount of force into it. And then with that carbon fiber plate, has a good amount of springiness to it as well. So here in the heel and also with the shape in the forefoot, it has a really nice rocking motion. And then once you get into the forefoot, doing heel dominant strides down the court, it has a nice little springiness to it. And also out of your first step, it feels nice as well. So it gives it a little bit of like an explosive feel, which feels great, right? So there's that. Moving on to the cushioning setup. The cushioning setup also is freaking amazing, right? So as you guys can see, with this plastic piece, it's really caging all the foam because this shoe is using full length boom, and boom is absolutely amazing. Boom is definitely one of my favorite foams that you can get right now. It's extremely lightweight as far as the overall, weight of the foam goes, compared to like Boost and all the traditional foams. Nitro foam from Puma is extremely heavy, Boom is extremely lightweight, right? But also it's really, really soft, just like Boost, but also has a lot more bounce. It has a lot more rebound back than Boost, right? It's a really nice bouncy foam. But of course, it is caged within this EVA kind of frame, right? This is all EVA right here on the medial side. Also, you can see here in the toe box, this is all EVA. And first of all, it's not super durable at the tip, but we'll get into that. So with that, we have a little bit of compression from the outside of the shoe, right? It's not super soft or anything, but also not clunky, like I said, which is awesome. So that's not amazing, but I just like how it's not clunky, because I thought it was gonna be clunky with all this, plastic. But of course, the where the cushion shines is a bounce, especially with underfoot cushion and step and comfort, right? So first of all, the insole is just whatever. It's just a regular foam insole. It's pretty much identical to the WoW 10, right? But if you take away the insole, you can see the full length boom right underneath your foot, right? And it is a thicker slab, it feels like, than the WoW 10. The WoW 10 has better court feel. For the WoW 11, I would say it's around average for the court feel. It's definitely not amazing. But of course, they give you more cushion here in the WoW 11, right? So it's full length, right? So for example, like in the AC12, they have the Pro Bar Lock, which is the midfoot chain plate, and it's top loaded. So in the midfoot, it's just plastic there, right? But then since the carbon fiber plate is sandwiched in between the boom midsole, the foam like right underneath your foot is just unadulterated USDA organic boom. You know what I mean? So you have full length boom right here in the heel, midfoot, and forefoot, right underneath your foot. There's a good amount of compression. It's extremely soft and also bouncy, right? But also, I wouldn't say it's mushy or anything. It has a perfect amount of compression, softness, bounce, and responsiveness for me personally. So I really like that, right? So impact protection is great, bounce is great, comfort's great. Responsiveness is great. It's just the one thing that I kind of don't like is the court feel. But like I said, it's just average. It's not terrible, but also it's not great, right? So because of that, I really like the cushioning setup besides the kind of bad court feel, which wasn't even that bad. So there is the cushioning setup there. Moving on to the uppers. So we have a very nice leather material. And with leather, usually I don't like leather as much because it's thicker. It's a little bit hot, or way hotter. And sometimes it can be a little stiff until you break it in, right? But this material that they're using, I don't really need to break it in at all. You know what I mean? It's really soft right out the box. It conforms to your foot extremely well while still feeling really supportive. So yeah, I'm not really mad about that. But the only thing, of course, I don't really like is that it's it's really hot in this shoe actually, right? There's not a whole lot of ventilation through the entire upper besides here for the tongue, which we'll get into. But overall, I mean, the quality is pretty dang nice. I wouldn't say it's like the best quality leather, it's not the most buttery, smooth leather, but especially for 225 bucks, you know what I mean? But it definitely doesn't feel cheap, So they're literally using that in this colorway. It's this white leather upper for the entire upper. And then of course we have the tongue. The tongue actually has a little bit of padding. It's this like ribbed kind of texture to it, and it feels pretty nice. It's not super well padded, but overall it does feel a little cozy on top of your foot. Also on the bottom here, on the bottom of the tongue, we have some ventilation holes, right? But again, that's not gonna really help that much. It helps a little bit though. And then here in the ankle area, we have a very nice Achilles pad, or I guess like 3 Achilles pad. It's kind of separated. But yeah, on the sides, we have a good amount of padding, and also in the Achilles area, we have a little bit of padding as well, which does feel nice and cozy. And then also on the outside of that, we have this kind of like knit upper a little bit, right? But it's not stretchy at all. And of course, we have the pull tab too with the TPU that kind of cages the foam, which it's kind of like a paint splatter almost, you know what I mean? It kind of wraps around the heel a little bit, going all the way here into the medial side. So the upper feels great on foot. Besides the ventilation, this shoe is freaking hot. But other than that, it feels nice. It's supportive. It's actually not even that thick, you know. Overall, I would say for a leather material, it feels pretty thin. Conforms to your foot extremely well while still feeling really supportive for the upper. So yeah, I really like the upper. And now moving on to the fit. So I went up half a size, and this shoe definitely fits a little bit long because I went up half a size. So definitely do go true to size if you want a very snug length, right? But me going up half a size, this shoe is really snug here in the toe. Look at this. Look at how freaking skinny it is right here. You know what I mean? So because of that, it's really tight on top of my toes, which I liked because usually I hate long fitting shoes. But then if it's like really tight here in the toe box, I don't really mind it as much, of course, which was of course a very nice thing. However, like I said, if you do go true to size, just be careful with the toe box. It's really snug, and it doesn't really get roomier because of this leather material, right? This leather material doesn't get it doesn't stretch out, you know? Also width-wise, I would say it's around normal width. I could definitely feel the side, the foam squeezing the side of my foot just a tiny bit. But then like at the tip of the toe, I had a little bit of room for like my toes to spread out. So it's kind of like weird, you know what I mean? It's not super narrow here, but it gets a little narrow, like a little bit farther down the shoe. It's not even the midfoot, however, you know what I mean? So it is a little bit weird for the width. But it wasn't like super wide, but also wasn't super narrow for me. So overall, the fit was nice. It's just, you know, it did run long, so that kind of sucks. But we'll get into the weight and just like the length of the overall shoe as well after the support and lockdown. But yeah, let's go to support and lockdown. Support and lockdown, I was good to go. And for most people, I feel like, I mean, everyone should be fine for lateral containment. So we literally had this EVA frame, which acts as a sidewall, right? So here in the forefoot, it comes up, here in the midfoot, also here in the heel, and we have the TPU. And also, like I said, this overall material is extremely supportive, it feels like. So whatever, you know, weight you are, and no matter how shifty you are doing crazy lateral movements, you're gonna be good to go. Your foot is not really coming out of the footbed that much. I was good to go with that. And also, lateral stability is extremely good. Look at how freaking wide the shoe is. We have this outrigger with this foam. This foam kind of like protrudes out a good amount. You can see just how wide the shoe is. Also, look at the EVA foam. There's a lot of compression marks. But anyways, so lateral stability was really good too, right? And also lockdown was great. I didn't have any issues with lockdown. Once I tightened the shoe, my foot felt locked into the shoe. It didn't really move around at all. So that really helped me feel extremely quick, especially since the traction was so good, you know what I mean? So there is the support and lockdown there. Now moving on to the weight of the shoe. So this shoe actually isn't that heavy. I thought it was gonna be freaking heavy, but it's actually not. It comes in at 12.3 ounces, which is a little bit lighter than average. They're using like plastic and EVA, right? This EVA cage frame, and also the leather. So I thought it was gonna be like at least 14 ounces, but surprisingly, actually it isn't that heavy, right? So yeah, like I mentioned before, I felt extremely quick when I was playing it because the traction was just so good. The cushion was responsive, but also still comfortable and springy from the actual like full length carbon fiber plate. And also from the actual cushion, it's bouncy, right? And also lockdown was great. You know, I didn't have any issues with support. So my foot felt really locked into the shoe and all that. So I really like the overall weight and responsiveness of the shoe. However, it does feel a little like long and bulky because of the extra length. I don't know why they added all of this. You know what I mean? First of all, it is fraying off a good amount. I guess I do a good amount of toe drags when I'm playing, but it's fraying off a little bit. So just be careful with that, especially if you're playing on outdoor court. This will probably fray off pretty easily, right? But yeah, I definitely felt like this shoe was a little bit not super bulky, right? Definitely not as bulky as like the Hardened Volume 8. You know, the Hardened Volume 8 felt a little bit bulky, but it's like the Hardened Volume 8 is just bulky like with the foam on the side. But the WoW 11 just felt long to me, right? So I'll get a shoe. This is the same exact size as the WoW 11. And let's check the difference in length of the overall shoe. Look at this. Look at how much longer it is. You know what I mean? Like, it's not that the fit is longer. It's just that it's just longer of a shoe. So it just felt a little bit like bulky lengthwise, which I didn't like too much. You know what I mean? Especially when I was running, I definitely felt like it was just long. It just felt kind of weird. You know what I mean? I mean, when I kept playing it, it wasn't a huge deal, and I definitely feel like if I did go true to size, I wouldn't feel it as much. But because I did go up half a size, and because of this extra length from the EVA, I definitely felt it a little bit more. So just be careful with that. I don't think it'll be terrible for people if they do go true to size. Like I said, I did notice it a little bit more because I did go up half a size. So there is the weight there. Moving on to the aesthetics, I really like it. I definitely feel like, you know, as far as the overall design of basketball shoes go in general right now, I think they're trying to move towards like a shoe that you can wear casually. Or I think Chinese companies are doing that, you know, not American companies. So like a shoe that looks great, you know, you can definitely wear off court, but also you can hoop in it, which I think is great. You know what I mean? So I really love the design. So tell us what you guys think of the aesthetics down in the comment section below. So wrapping things up, the WoW 11 is really nice. You know, it's definitely, I love the traction. It's a huge upgrade from the WoW 10. The WoW 10 had nice traction, but wasn't the best on dust, right? But then the WoW 11, amazing, like literally one of the best tractions that you get right now. The cushion also, it's thicker, it has more bounce, it has more compression, it's softer. It has worse court feel, but it's not terrible like I said. So I really like that as well. The leather, not a huge deal for me. It's just the shoe is hot, but you know, it's not that big of a deal for performance for me personally. Support's great. Overall, it's like an average weight, but I felt extremely quick in it. It's just a little bulky, but you know, it's not anything terrible, especially comparing to like, you know, the Hardened Volume 8 or even like the AE1, which is a little bit heavier too. So yeah, the WoW 11 is an amazing performing hoop shoe, and I definitely feel like most people will enjoy it. You know, whether you're a guard, whether you're a bigger dude, has great support, great cushion, but also you can feel really quick in it. This is an amazing option, and I definitely feel like they blended all that together to cater towards most people. You know what I mean? So anyways, that about concludes my performance review of the WoW 11. Again, if you guys do want to copy, try to leave an affiliate link in the description box, but that's it. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.